Welcome to today's history. This isn't just another day. May 5th carries stories that have shaped nations, inspired movements, and transformed the world. From legendary battles to the birth of global institutions, today's date reminds us how history unfolds in powerful, unforgettable ways. So whether you're here for knowledge, inspiration, or a new perspective, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the most impactful events that happened on May 5th right here, together. Chapter 1. The Second Council of Constantinople begins. 553. On May 5th, 553, the Second Council of Constantinople convened, marking a pivotal moment in Christian history. Called by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, this ecumenical council aimed to resolve deep theological disputes that were dividing the Eastern and Western churches. At the heart of the debate were the writings of certain early Christian theologians, whose works stirred controversy over the nature of Christ. The council's decisions would echo through centuries, shaping doctrine and reinforcing the authority of imperial power in church matters. It's a powerful reminder that even spiritual beliefs have been shaped not just by faith, but also by politics, power, and the need for unity. What began in Constantinople that day would influence religious thought across Europe and the Middle East for generations. Chapter 2. Kublai Khan becomes ruler of the Mongol Empire. 1260. On May 5, 1260, Kublai Khan rose to power, becoming the Great Khan of the Mongol Empire, turning point that would reshape not just Asia, but much of the known world. As the grandson of Genghis Khan, Kublai inherited more than a title. He inherited the weight of an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. But unlike his grandfather, Kublai was not just a conqueror. He was a builder, a statesman, and a visionary. Under his leadership, the Mongols advanced into China, and the Yuan dynasty was born. Kublai Khan embraced Chinese culture, reformed government institutions, and opened up trade along the Silk Road, fostering one of the most significant periods of cross-cultural exchange in history. His rule symbolized the merging of Mongol strength with ancient Eastern civilizations, a rare moment when brute force gave way to diplomacy, innovation, and empire building on a grand scale. Chapter 3. Christopher Columbus lands on Jamaica. 1494. On May 5th, 1494, during his second voyage to the New World, Christopher Columbus set foot on an island that would later become known as Jamaica. He named it Santiago in honor of St. James. But the event marked much more than a simple act of naming. It signaled a new phase in European colonial expansion. Columbus's arrival introduced the Caribbean to the European powers, setting of centuries of colonization, cultural exchange, and conflict. Jamaica would eventually become a key hub in the transatlantic slave trade, a painful chapter that reshaped the demographics and history of the island forever. While Columbus is often remembered for his role in discovering the Americas, his voyages also ushered in a complex and controversial legacy, one that still sparks debate and reflection today. This landing was a moment that helped redefine global geography and opened the door to a drastically altered world order. Chapter 4. The Treaty of St. Petersburg ends the 7 years. 1762. On May 5, 1762, the Treaty of St. Petersburg was signed, marking a dramatic turn in the 7 Years' War. This agreement brought an end to hostilities between Russia and Prussia, two of Europe's major powers at the time. With the unexpected death of Empress Elizabeth of Russia, her successor, Peter III, an admirer of Frederick the Great, quickly withdrew from the war and made peace with Prussia. This surprising political shift became known as the Miracle of the House of Brandenburg, as it saved Prussia from near certain defeat. The treaty reshaped the balance of power in Europe and foreshadowed the rise of Prussia as a dominant force. It also showed how leadership changes could dramatically alter the course of war. In many ways, this treaty was not just a diplomatic document, it was a turning point in European history. Chapter 5. Death of Napoleon Bonaparte. 1821. On May 5, 1821, the world lost one of its most influential and controversial figures, Napoleon Bonaparte. Exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, Napoleon spent his final years reflecting on a life that saw him rise from an unknown officer to Emperor of France. His military genius reshaped Europe, and his legal reforms, such as the Napoleonic Code, continue to influence legal systems worldwide. But his downfall, after a failed invasion of Russia and the subsequent wars, marked the end of his reign. Napoleon's death closed a powerful chapter in world history, but his legacy lives on in the shape of modern Europe. Chapter 6. Founding of the Council of Europe. 1949. On May 5, 1949, Amidst the ruins of post-World War II Europe, the founding of the Council of Europe marked a turning point in the continent's recovery. The devastation of the war had left European nations fractured and struggling, but this new organization emerged with a vision to rebuild Europe on the foundations of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Its mission was clear: to prevent the horrors of war from repeating by fostering cooperation and unity across European countries. Through its efforts, the Council laid the groundwork for greater European integration, which would eventually lead to the creation of the European Union. Today, the Council continues to work towards a more united and peaceful Europe, showing the lasting impact of its founding on the world stage. Chapter 7. Alan Shepard becomes the first American in space. 1961. On May 5, 1961, history was made when Alan Shepard became the first American to journey into space aboard the spacecraft Freedom 7. This 15-minute suborbital flight was not just a personal triumph for Shepard, but a monumental achievement for the United States, marking its entry into the fierce space race with the Soviet Union. Though short in duration, Shepard's flight was filled with incredible significance, showing the world that space exploration was no longer just a dream, but a reality within reach. His journey ignited the ambitions of an entire nation, inspiring future generations of astronauts and engineers, and proving that the stars were no longer beyond human grasp. Alan Shepard's courage and determination paved the way for America's further ventures into the cosmos. Chapter 8. The Bishkek Protocol ceasefire agreement is signed. 1994. May 5, 1994 marked a pivotal moment in the South Caucasus. After years of intense fighting between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh, the Bishkek Protocol was signed, brokered in Kyrgyzstan's capital, Bishkek. This ceasefire agreement wasn't a full peace treaty, but it brought an end to active hostilities in a war that had already cost tens of thousands of lives and displaced over 1 million people. The protocol was simple: stop the bloodshed, hold the lines, and begin the search for a long-term solution. And while the ceasefire would be tested over time, it held for decades. The Bishkek Protocol stands as a powerful example of how fragile peace can be, and how even temporary truces can pave the way for future diplomacy. IT reminds us that, behind every headline of war, there's always a chance, however small, for dialogue, understanding, and resolution. May 5th. More than just a date. From ancient conflicts and hard-won ceasefires to political milestones and cultural breakthroughs, this day echoes with stories that continue to shape our world. Each moment is a reminder that history is alive, and every day adds a new page. Thanks for joining us here on today's history. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another day in history. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, stay curious.